Hello my dear YouTuber friends, and I do hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video. Orbx Great Britain South has released at last. We've now got the Trilogy, North, Central and South. As you can see, I'm flying over a very famous site here. In this video, I'm obviously going to give you a review of Orbx Great Britain South, but I'm going to compare the scenery from default to Orbx Great Britain South and show you how much you get, which is typical with Orbx with this add-on package. It's for PC only at the moment. Xbox users or simmers, hold tight. This will be coming to Xbox imminently, no doubt. As you can see, I'm quite excited about this one. Okay, let's not dilly-dally. Incredible stuff. Let's get on with this video. Okay, so to begin with, I've uninstalled Orbx Great Britain South. I want to show you a couple of default views and the way that things look in the default state before I show you the enhancements with Orbx Great Britain South. Just to tell you, I mean, I'm going to link Orbx Central down below in the description. Go and read up on what the package includes. If you click on the link, it will show you what the package includes itself, and essentially you get over 700 points of interest with realistic PBR texturing, helipads spawned all over the place, even animals added. I've not come across them yet, but I've not been particularly looking for them. But here we go. So this is the default. So this is with the UK World Update, but not with Orbx Great Britain South installed, and we're heading towards Portsmouth. There'll be a couple of landmarks here, of course, but we'll see how it looks. I mean, I know, because I've tested them both, I can already see that there are buildings lacking, even approaching it, compared to when you have Great Britain South installed. And we'll fly over to Portsmouth here. Yeah, and do watch the change. So I'll just do a quick fly around again. This is the default version of the UK World Update, and the city and the houses, they look fine going up, as much of the UK does. Seems to be lacking generally, as I'll show you later, in this area. And even the buildings around Portsmouth, they put the bare minimum sort of famous landmarks in there, it looks like. Yeah, doesn't look great, as I'll be showing you in a moment. I'm off autopilot, so I can just manually take us around. Yeah, it just looks a bit bare, doesn't it? A bit bare-boned, per se. You've got the Spinnaker Tower there, which is nice, and that's going to be in both versions, of course. It's one of the most famous landmarks, if not the most famous landmark in Portsmouth. Aside from that, even on the little land across there. Okay, I mean, you get a couple of buildings. Not really much more. Let me now show you the enhanced version of Portsmouth. And so, approaching Portsmouth again, this time with Orbx Great Britain South. You're going to see a bit of a change here, chaps. Quite a few famous landmarks. And of course, in the distance is the Isle of Wight, an island I've visited quite a few times. But let's show you Portsmouth first. You're going to see some enhancements. And again, even leading up to it, as you'll see additional buildings and filled out areas, which is very common for the Orbx packs. Whenever they release an area pack like this, they tend to fill out the surrounding areas as well, which you'll see if you compare the two, the default and the enhanced version together. So there we go. I'm flying in manual mode just so I can show you some of the sights. I won't mess myself up by putting a stage of flaps in. We're fairly slow for the 182. There we go. Spot the buildings. Not just buildings, as you'll see, Portsmouth has quite a few famous ships around as well. Just by the train station, I believe. Is that the Queen Elizabeth ship by the train station? Portsmouth and South Sea is that from memory. I've been there a few times. And of course the Spinnaker Tower, which we'll be taking a look at. It's difficult to judge the time of day, so let me just brighten things up a little bit. There we go. Now we can see it. So there you go, Spinnaker Tower. You've got the various different ships, and goodness knows what famous ships around. And the city itself, look how it's been enhanced, isn't that beautiful? So if you've flown over Portsmouth in the default scenery, even with the world update for UK, you're probably going to you found probably one or two things lacking, and this will fill in the dots for you. Isn't that fantastic? So there we go. Just fly. I'll keep it in external view for you just so I can show you. In fact, I might just have to pop in just to make sure that things are... I can give you it from internal as well, so inside the cockpit there. You'll probably be generally flying. Although if you're exploring these areas, I do urge you to go external, just so you can get the full beauty of them. There you go. And these are just small areas I'm showing you compared to what this package covers. So do go and buy this and explore this for yourself. There's a lot more to see as you'll fly across the south of the UK. Wonderful. So there you go, that's Portsmouth. Let's move on to a different area. Now for this one, I'm going to fly around Oxford. I'm actually doing this cold, shall we say. I've not seen the enhancements from GB South yet. This is with it on install, so this is the default scenery. The UK World Update. Give you a bit of a view around Oxford here. Just here coming up to us now. Now I've been here a number of times as well. I have a brother who lives in Oxford, in fact. Let's go and visit him again. But I've actually lived there and stayed there and visited quite a few times. Beautiful medieval ancient town, steeped in history of course. And this is it. This is the default version of Oxford. It's going to leave you wanting a little bit, isn't it? You're probably going to expect a little bit more. There you go, a couple of famous landmarks in the centre there. Sorry, I really should slow my aircraft down, which I have now. Doesn't seem. Let me just get internal. Better trim up as I slow down there. Doesn't seem to be a great deal to see in the default version. It seems like they missed Oxford out in some way. Okay, well, let's come back and show you the enhanced version as the scenery is. Okay, so we're back now with Orbx Great Britain South, just approaching the ancient city of Oxford. We should see some changes here. Let's take a look. So the city's just coming up yonder there. And let's see what we can see. Let me just take it off autopilot so I can manually fly this. Just to see all the beauty. So you got all the outskirts, the outlying buildings. And in the centre, it's already looking good somewhat. Just make sure my autopilot's behaving. It is now. Sorry, my aircraft's behaving. Didn't really want to be climbing, but I'll take over manual control here. So there we go. Flying over downtown Oxford, as it were, the centre of Oxford now. And as you can see, we've got a couple more rendered buildings there. Yeah, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? You got that kind of oldie-worldy heart of Oxford there, with all the famous colleges and universities. And even a pub where Tolkien and C.S. Lewis used to meet up and chat. Yeah, that looks more like Oxford to me now. That's chalk and cheese compared to the default version, isn't it? So they've added the sort of famous centre of Oxford there. Oh goodness me, that is a big change. Let's do a couple of passes of this. It's always difficult to tell from the air the various different buildings, but yeah, that looks more. If you're flying over that, you think, oh, hang on, that's Oxford. Let's get in turn on, do another pass. There we go. We'll just do a quick sort of 180 in the aircraft. Per se, I'm just getting internal just to see. Well, you can't see much from that window at the moment, but just to see what my aircraft's doing. Just don't really want to lose too much more altitude at the moment. Come back towards the centre. Oh yeah. Yeah, now I have a brother who lives in Oxford and I visit him. I used to visit him quite often, even lived there at one time. And I can tell you this is more true to life. It just looks a lot more enhanced, doesn't it? Just generally. Chalk and cheese compared to the default version. There we go, we'll just do this little flyover, then we'll move on to something else. Wow. And it's really flying over it, trying to spot the famous landmarks of Oxford, and colleges and universities and all that kind of good stuff. As we're flying past there, seen a lot more added buildings, haven't they? Well, they've added a lot more buildings, rather. Very nice Orbx, I've got to say, very nice. And these are just small parts I'm showing you. Obviously, this video would be hours long if I went through the whole of the south of the UK, pointing out all the various landmarks. It's really for you to go and discover yourself, but I hope this shows you the difference between default and the enhanced version. You can truly see it there. So okay, that's Oxford for you, another enhanced area. Let's move on to something else. Okay, so another area I wanted to show you is of course the White Cliffs of Dover, what I showed you in the intro there. Now I don't believe the actual White Cliffs of Dover, there may be one or two enhancements going along. I don't believe these have been greatly enhanced. It's the area surrounding them which has. So let's just do our flyby of the Great Cliffs of Dover here. Or the White Cliffs of Dover, rather. Great Cliffs, White Cliffs of Dover. I'll show you know what I meant. And just keep an eye. So when I show you the enhanced version in a moment, keep an eye on the surrounding areas. We are going to fly around the cliffs into an area which I do believe has been enhanced by Great Britain South, Orbx Great Britain South. So yeah, the cliffs, remember this is a building enhancement generally. So the cliffs themselves was already in the UK World Update. They look pretty similar, although I've got to say it does look slightly more convincing in the enhanced version. I don't know if they've touched them up or it's whether it's the surrounding areas. As you can see, the cliffs themselves look okay. The areas surrounding them don't look as convincing. And as we fly past the White Cliffs of Dover there, coming up to the areas beyond. Let me just make sure that my aircraft is responding correctly. That's fine. You're going to see enhancements around these areas as well with the GB Orbx South, as I'll show you in a moment. So there we go, we're flying past here. This all looks very bland, doesn't it? And this part really does look enhanced in the Orbx GB South, as I'll show you. So we're coming up here to fly around this part, which I'll do in the enhanced version as well. Looks okay. Passable. Just not as nice, as you'll see. There we go, we're just flying to this little mouth here. Yeah, that doesn't look so good, does it, beneath me? This part, yeah. Okay. Let me show you the enhanced version of this area. And so now, this is the Orbx Great Britain South Dover. As you can see, it's just maybe just rendering in a little bit, which is typical for Flight Sim. That could be my internet again at play, I hope not. But here we go, here are the famous sights coming up in the distance there. I've just taken it off autopilot so I can fly manually. Let me just make sure that everything's behaving. There we go, flying about half throttle in the 182 there, but there you go. Look at these, we're going to fly past these cliffs and show you the detail further on as well. They don't just enhance one or two famous landmarks, they enhance the area around it as well. There you go, get your Spitfires out, chaps. Buy the package and fly over these, land on the fields yonder. Seems a good one to land on, doesn't it? Oh, fields there. Oh, multiplayer flight incoming, chaps. Particularly when this releases on Xbox as well. There you go, the White Cliffs of Dover in their finest detail, and beyond them as well. More enhancements in the sim or with the package. Let's just go and take a look at them. I'll give you that view. Now, someone wants to sing There'll Be Bluebells Over. The White Cliffs of Dover, of course. There we go. More enhancements. Of course, now, isn't it Canterbury's near here as well? I believe. So you can go and explore those parts, go and see some added points of interest. But yeah, I mean, Dover's just simply one of the landmarks of England, isn't it? Stunning in real life. I must go and pay them a visit. Really must. I have been there in the past. But with my interest in Spitfires and aircraft in general, it'll be good. And there you go. A few more added details for you. I'm going to fly along this way just so you can see the additions you get. And it really is just, look at it, it's just an enhancement to what's already been enhanced in the UK. It's now enhancing it to the finest levels. So we're pretty much spoilt, aren't we? The whole island's been done pretty much. Which is brilliant. And we can fly on and find more points of interest and goodness knows what. So there you go, chaps. I'll now move on to a different area and show you more enhancements. Okay, so conclusion and recommendations time. Do I really need to give a recommendation from this? Look, if you have PC Microsoft Flight Sim, and this will be coming to Xbox soon, go out and buy this. It cost me, just, I think it was £9.21. And I hope I've demonstrated how much it does enhance the southern UK areas. If you own Orbx North and Central, this is a must. Complete the trilogy. Just go out and buy this. Can't recommend it highly enough. I'm flying around London to end because I'm sure I'm seeing one or two extra buildings that were not in the sort of London landmarks packaging and the UK World Update. Pretty sure I'm spotting one or two extra buildings. I could be wrong about that. But it wouldn't surprise me. London is in the south of the UK, so it would make sense for them to enhance this slightly as well. I wish they would enhance London completely. It still looks like a crumpled down old town. But yeah, if you fly around here, you may find, I believe, 1 or 2 extra buildings or additional buildings. Anyway, huge recommendation from me. This is a day 1 buy. Just go out and buy it. You'll be doing yourself a huge injustice if you don't buy it, particularly if you're from the UK, regardless of where you live in the UK. Yeah, this is a must. But do let me know your own thoughts in the video. Give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. Many more Flight Simulator videos on their way. And I'll be seeing you soon.